accept. Where them hands, where them holes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying?
This is why I train in martial arts.
I am calling this Karen Karate Counters because I was originally going to call this Unprovoked Violence. And it was just going to be about the first video. But in both of these videos, you have people who are being attacked by Karen for no reason. The first Karen we're going to call Old Karen. The second Karen we're going to call Asian Karen. The first one is an old Caucasian lady. The second one is an old Asian lady. So basically, if you don't know what my, I guess you could say my shtick is on this channel, because this is not the Cecil Ryu Hip Hop channel, who is my sponsor for this channel, is me doing my hip hop music. You can check that out in the links on this channel. My thing in my philosophy is that if you use the movements from traditional martial arts with movements from Judo, and in there the tenets and philosophies of traditional martial arts, in this case specifically traditional Taekwondo, that can help you deal with most civilian violence, civilian conflicts, civilian confrontations. So that's why with my style of Cecil Ryu martial arts, Cecil Ryu Taekwondo, I want you to learn your forms, especially general choice forms. Those are the forms I teach. You learn general choice forms with a couple of more forms that I learned when I did Tang Soo Do and karate. Couple that with Judo, and you should be pretty much safe. Any additional training comes from Hapkido, Western boxing, Kyusho, Jitsu. So the first video for Old Karen, that is countered by using the moves right out of the forms. In the sequence of the forms, the first form that most people ever take, a Taekwondo, a Tang Soo Do, or a Karate Do, they're going to learn those moves right out of the forms. But instead of using them as hya, punch, kick, he's using them to stiff arm and to block. And he also goes into using Judo in terms of checking the wrists and checking old Karen's wrists. The second video for Asian Karen, that man handles his attack by Karen with using your Taekwondo tenets of courtesy and self-control and having a perseverance to survive the encounter. Now, see, Asian Karen's attack is with words, so it's not physical. So that's why you need your tenets to handle the non-physical, the social attacks, the manipulation attacks, and you need your physical techniques to handle the physical attacks. So just keep in mind before I show you and I break it down, look at how Old Karen in the first video attacks that young man. Look at how she attacks him. She starts off from his left side. He even has to do a retracting elbow. Just like you tell you to retract and then go down to your down block. And instead of doing it as a hard down block, he does it as a stiff arm grab and check off her wrist. So let's take a look at these videos. The first one is analyzing the movements by Old Karen. So let's take a look at what happens when this man and his wife is attacked by Old Karen, according to the video, because someone wore a Free Palestine t-shirt.
This crazy Karen
Okay, let's go back. Well, let me play it first.
was mad that she saw somebody in front of her wearing a Free Palestine shirt.
Stop! Stop!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Now I'm gonna call police.
Call the police.
Call the police.
Stop! You're gonna bring the woman?
No.
Okay, so let's rewind it here. Let me take it step by step. You can watch the full video from the links below. So you see right here. Now look, you see that? Good, perfect stop. See that right there? You see how his elbow is pulled back just like you chamber your down block? Right here. So now we know why we may want to practice chambering our down block before we actually do it. And if you notice when you chamber your down block,
from the left, your right arm is pressed up against it if you're chambering properly. So think about the next time you do this move, instead of just doing it to like I'm preparing to strike. Since you have your own arm there, you can use a sensitivity. We can use that as a hint as to I can use this arm that's coming back to check another arm that is coming at me. And you can use that to practice on yourself to get some sort of tactile sensitivity. Okay. So you see here, he's got his elbow checking old Karen's arm here. Okay. And he's using it at around your lung 5, large intestine 13 pressure point. So there's a little bit of Kyusho Jitsu action for you as well. And see, she's attacking him from his left side. And he's trying to turn his head to look to see what's coming from the left side. So when they tell you to turn and look to the left in your forms, they're telling you for a reason. When you're dealing with idiot violence that you can stop, you have to stop. But you don't really want to hurt them, but you still have to stop the violence.
Crazy Karen was mad that she saw.
See that? So that's basically your down block. And in some old school interpretations of this move, you would down block, raise your arm up before you do the second punch. You would down block, raise your arm up, do a grabbing motion with the hand that you just raised up, that you just down blocked with, and then step and do your punch or attack with the other hand. Notice that's what he's pretty much done here. Let me back it up a little bit.
Was mad that she saw somebody in front of her.
So that's post down block. Let me get back to here.
Mad that she saw some.
I'll rewind a little bit more. See, so from here, there's your
Crazy
down block. Let me mute this for a second. Down block. Grab. The raised up grab. There, he's using that. And he didn't go to a punch, but you see he moved the right arm. So instead of punching with the second step, he used that to nullify Karen's coffee coming towards him. I guess he decided to technically attack after all by throwing a coffee cup with her. But notice she's coming at him from the right side. Here is where I say he switches to judo, in my opinion, if you want to link this to a martial art. This is where he's doing the judo. He's got the good wrist control here, right? So now he's going to eventually face her. When she's coming back towards him, he's using his judo right there to grab at the wrist. You can interpret this as judo, and actually the June B motion, where you have your hands in front of you before you start your form here. So now this would be foul tactics in judo because he's stiff arming her away. Now he turns his back, right? So remember, in your form, a lot of times, any form that does down block, punch, look, turn to your right, down block, punch. Notice now she's attacking him from his right side. And he has to deal with a response from there. Now he's still demonstrating Taekwondo tenets. Okay, so the videos loop back around. So as you can see, he did the preparatory down block. See, he's using that retracting motion to check her attack without harming her. And now he's doing some grappling motion, moving stiff arming, and going in to stop her throwing coffee at him and his pregnant wife. Okay? By sticking with technique rather than using all of his strength, he is keeping her from hurting him and his wife, and he's also keeping himself from hurting her as well. So you see, like right here, now Karen is attacking him from the right side, from his right side. So now we know why we have Junbi, down block punch to the left, look, down block punch to the right, teaching you to deal with responses coming from in front of you, left and right. And since we're at close quarters and we don't want to strike here, because what benefit would striking be for him in this instant? It's going to make him look entirely too aggressive. It would be probably considered excessive force because he's entirely too big to be hitting this woman, even though she intends to harm someone else. So this is a perfect example of where you have to stop violence, but you don't want to inflict any violence. But if you don't do something, somebody's going to get hurt. This, in my opinion, is where I feel like grappling, especially stand-up grappling, especially judo, shine.
Can you get away from my mic?
Here we go. Now, if you've ever done any judo randori, you've done this motion, grabbing on to the gi to keep them away from you. I know you've done that if you've done some stand-up.
I'll punch you. Get away from me.
I'm gonna punch you.
Punch me.
Okay.
What the hell?
So if you want to go into your judo slogans, that was definitely a mutual welfare and benefit, in my opinion. Mutual welfare and benefit. Jitako Yei. It was for his benefit, it was for her benefit, and also for the benefit of his wife. So that's how he's using Taekwondo and Judo techniques to handle old Karen. Now we're going to take a look at someone handling Asian Karen with Taekwondo tenets: courtesy, self-control, perseverance, and really indomitable spirit. I always like to throw that in there, but we'll take a look at that now. So let's keep in mind that this woman is lying, okay? She is lying. She is saying that this technician, this young man here, has threatened her, and he has not. He's literally doing his job, working, which proves that you can be attacked. Not out doing anything nefarious, but he's being attacked with words. She's trying to weaponize the police against him. He survives this encounter by being calm and professional, demonstrating courtesy when I'm sure he didn't want to, self-control when I'm definitely sure he was tempted not to, two of your Taekwondo tenets, and persevering throughout all of this, just flagrant verbal abuse and weaponization of police against him. Let's watch him in action. If he doesn't have a black belt, if him and the other guy, if they don't have black belts, they deserve them. I'll tell you that.
She is on the phone with 911 right now.
He said I'm rude and he's just threatening me right now.
Look at her. She said I just threatened her. What threat? What threat did I make towards you?
I'm Elizabeth.
What threat did I make towards you, ma'am?
Still calling her ma'am. Still using courtesy.
Huh? This is crazy. I've never.
Show me.
I already knew.
There might be some language in here. If there is, I apologize.
I already knew what it was when I first got here, though.
Here she is 1 minute later trying to sound distressed so the police can come quicker.
Please, please. I'm so scared right now.
What?
I'm shaking right now. Please, please.
What?
I'm so scared.
What in the world is this?
What in the world is this? It's called lying. It's called lying, sir. That's what it is. It's called lying. The lie ki, I guess we could call it.
This, boy, I ain't gonna lie. I've never in my life had to deal with no bullshit like this. Never in my life.
So here is his update and explanation of what happened that day. I'm not going to play his entire video here because I don't want to just outright take all of his content, but I do think you should take a look at the video link, and some of the other people reacting to this, they're at the end of this video, of his video on the other channel. Their responses are a lot more colorful than mine. I can't respond quite that way on this channel, but he's going to explain what he did and pretty much how he uses Taekwondo tenets well in handling the situation. So this is what happened.
So basically, I'm an HVAC technician. I'm contracted out daily to go to different people's homes. I clean air ducts, I clean furnaces, air conditioning units, dryer vents, good stuff like that around your homes. That day, I was contracted to go out to her home by her and her husband. They wanted their air ducts cleaned. So right off bat, I pull up to the home, I grab a few pieces of equipment out my van, then I eventually enter the home. As soon as I enter the home, the woman is standing by the door. She greets me at the door. She doesn't tell me her name or anything. I introduce myself. I let her know what I'm there for. If she could show me certain parts of the home that I'll need to know about in order to do my job. So she was the only one there. Her husband was at work, so automatically knew to be as gentle as possible. I am a stranger coming into your home at the end of the day. You're by yourself, so I already knew how to approach the scene with her. As I'm talking to her for the first time, I'm already picking up a bad energy from her. She's giving.
Now you see how he said he's picking up bad energy? So when people are talking about energy and sensitivity, especially on the internal side of martial arts, this is not a bunch of woo-woo. This is not something that's just, I don't know, it's not nonsense. He's picking up on bad energy, bad vibes, bad intentions, which he had, which you can see from the earlier clip. That's what ended up happening. Is she ended up trying to weaponize words against him, not physical technique. And ironically, weaponized words can be far more lethal than any punch, kick, throw, pin, or pressure point strike. Because she was trying to weaponize the police against him when he literally was just doing his job. So when people start talking about energy and intuition, those are keys to self-defense. And I think because his intuition went off and he listened to it, he was able to implement the Taekwondo tenets and the Judo slogan of, I would say he used mutual welfare and benefit because it was to his benefit to not panic. And she only benefited physically. But at least I'm glad he had sense enough to record so that now people, when they see folks complaining about situations like this, they know it is not a lie.
Giving me a bland stare as I'm explaining to her the things that I'll need to do around the home and the things that I'll need to access. She would periodically cut me off as I was trying to explain certain things to her. So I eventually asked her to see her utility room. That's where I would end the cleaning by cleaning her furnace. She kind of turned towards me and looked like, why do I need to show you that room? Like, why do you need to go down there? That's when I then explained to her, I would end the cleaning there. So she kind of slowly walked down. That's when she, showed me where the room was. So it was an awkward silence at that moment because I already kind of could pick up what type of time she was on. So then asked me, they let me do a job like this? I'm about to begin my work in the utility room. She's literally right over my shoulder. She's not leaving my side. She's watching everything that I'm doing. She then asked me, they let me do a job like this? And that's when I kind of turned towards her, like, what does that mean? Like, I'm confused on what you're asking me. So I kind of giggled that off.
Amazing self-control, amazing courtesy, amazing implementation of Taekwondo tenets. Like I said, if this guy doesn't have a black belt, he certainly deserves one. I have not seen too many people handle situations like this with this much professionalism. It's off the charts. Let me see if I can go further in the video where he talks about the police.
She can see me take the photos, clearly take them in her furnace, and show her those photos. Cutting me off every time, so it feels she's so close to me. Threatening to call her husband, yelling at me, saying all sorts of things. As I'm walking through the garage, I hear her yell that she's going to call the police. Now, I know if someone calls the police on you and you leave the scene before they arrive, that's basically you fleeing the crime scene. So I let her know, if you call the police, then I'm going to stay. I'm going to wait for them.
See that self-control and that perseverance? And he was knowledgeable about local self-defense laws where he lives. So he knows that if you leave some type of encounter like that and your life's not in immediate danger, it can be twisted so that you're fleeing the scene of a crime. That's some remarkable self-control and forethought. And one thing that does help with this isn't just me saying this, and I cannot remember where I read it, but I know I read it a few weeks ago, is that having good cardio, having a good endurance, actually helps you to think better under pressure because you can control your breathing. So he was probably using some good breath control there. Again, I don't know. I wasn't there. But from what I saw in the video that we did show when he was recording it, It seemed like he was in full control of his breathing. I don't know whether that was conscious or not.
I then start to record. So after the recording, I was just in shock. Like, I didn't know what just happened. I was literally standing outside in the blizzard. So I got in my van, watched.
Now, he said he was in shock. That's something that a lot of people say when there's a physical attack. Now, even though this wasn't a physical attack, this was a verbal attack, he knows, given his demographics, that he could be in danger from, from excessive use of force by bad actors on the police force. So that enough right there, that is violence, even though it's indirect violence, that can have serious consequences. And any type of attack, physical, mental, spiritual, can cause shock. But he was able to handle that shock extremely well. He handled that shock like a master, in my opinion.
Watching my surroundings, waiting on the police to show up. I didn't know what type of police unit was going to show up just by how she was acting on the phone, making it seem like I was causing harm to her or something. So I was honestly scared. So luckily, it was only 2 officers that showed up. They came to defuse the situation, basically asked me to leave the premises. They did take down some information. Before I was about to leave, the officer that went up to her and got her side of the story actually came up to me on her behalf to see if I was willing to stay and do the cleaning, but I simply declined. This also happened in Golden Valley, Minnesota. So I stay in Minnesota, and that's where this incident took place.
So this wraps up Karen Karate Counters. Countering Karen's karate. How we can counter Karen's karate. Karen's karate consists of kiais that are full of lies. Karen's karate is not always done with a punch or a kick, or a chop, or a right cross, or a hook or an uppercut, or with a rear naked choke. Karen's karate can be far more insidious. It doesn't require years of training, but years of being evil. It does require some skill, though, and some acting and some deception. And it also plays against all of our societal expectations of who or what is really dangerous. We're socially conditioned to not think that smaller people, especially some small female people, could be of such a threat to us that they could actually do us bodily harm. And as we can see from the second Karen, they don't have to do the violence themselves. And as we can see from the first Karen, if they are doing violence, did anyone intervene to stop her? No one intervened to stop her. So you cannot always think that if a Karen goes against you, that someone's going to come and save you. They probably are not, especially if you're looked at as being strong enough to save yourself. And yet, if you hurt them, you're going to be labeled as the bad person. So, this is where your Taekwondo tenets, your Judo tenets, your Taekwondo techniques, and your Judo techniques also can come in handy if they're used in the right situation. If you use physical techniques appropriately, if you use mental, psychological, emotional control and relations properly, being sensitive to energy, using your words as best you can to try to diffuse situations. Styles like and systems like Cecil Ryu Taekwondo, styles and systems from traditional martial arts, and even from sports martial arts, because Judo, a lot of people just consider that to be a sport. I know it's more, but hey, you apply these things properly and appropriately, and I'm not saying that I've got them perfect. I know I certainly don't. I'm still learning, okay? But you apply those things properly, along with lessons from the Bible, you'll be able to handle Karen. And I'm glad that someone recorded this because as a Hollywood actor once said, racism is not on the rise, it's just being filmed. And the first Karen, old Karen, some people may even say that wasn't racism because both of those people, I think, were within the same race. But it doesn't matter because someone could have been harmed. Old Karen could have harmed a woman carrying a baby. Just despicable. Thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share with people like to talk about the martial arts and peace. And as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Peace.